Hey there, it's Jill and Wally, Fox Party of 3, and we went to Alaska this summer. We spent the entire summer in Alaska, and rather than put together a video of the different places that we went and things that we saw and did, I thought I would just offer up some photographs from the summer. Hopefully it will inspire you if you're trying to plan a trip. If you have any specific questions about anything that you see here or anything that you hear, leave a comment and I will do my best to answer those questions for you. So, first things first, where did we go? Well, the short answer is pretty much everywhere. Well, everywhere except for the Arctic Circle and the Arctic Ocean. We had actually put together a video asking for your input on this, and you guys responded, and we greatly appreciate that. However, in the end, we just decided that that wasn't anything of real, true, significant interest to us. So we passed. But we saw everything else, and in many cases, we saw many things more than once. Specifically, the Kenai Peninsula, we went up and down that several times. And we had a great time, so we really don't feel like we missed out on anything. Some might say, well, you might not ever get back there, and that was your one chance. And that's true, but we were trying to weigh what was most important. And in the end, I felt like we made the best decisions about where we traveled to and the times that we spent at the places that we visited. Now, as far as trip planning purposes are concerned, I'm probably not the best person to ask for any kind of advice. We have a truck camper, and that really gives us the ability to just kind of wing it. And that's pretty much what we do. I did rely heavily on my milepost guidebook, but it wasn't in the interest of planning out a route. It was mostly for looking ahead while we were on a road and seeing where there might be services, gas, food, campground, a place to pull over and camp for the night. The only reservations as far as camping is concerned that we had was in Denali National Park, and if that is of interest to you, I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend the park Technolika. That's at the 29 milepost, and it's amazing. But otherwise, we would just roll into a town and pretty much find a spot without any trouble. I will say that I was a bit concerned when we were getting ready to take this trip because on all the chats, it sounded like a lot of people were going. But we really didn't run into any problems in finding a place to stay. So for us, it worked out well. Now, if you have a larger rig and you need services and hookups, then yes, I would suggest making those reservations and being more particular about planning out your trip. But for us, the adventure is the journey itself. And part of that journey is making that split-second decision to take this road versus that one. And it just works for us. So actually, to be specific, we were coming out of Denali National Park, and we were initially planning on going down to the Kenai Peninsula again. But all of a sudden, we're like, let's take this road. That road happened to be the Denali Highway. It was amazing. Found one of the most beautiful boondocking sites ever. And, just looking over this valley, and there was these mountains and glaciers. It was amazing. So that is what we're always searching for. And when we find it, it is just, amazing. Let's talk about the weather. So the weather in Alaska is not predictable at all. I was not mentally prepared for what we were getting ready to get involved in. It rained nearly every day in June, and I just was not prepared for that. The weather will be wet, it will be cold, it will be gray, and just as long as you're prepared for that, I think you'll be okay. Again, I wasn't, and I had issues. Now, with that said, I would highly encourage you to get really good rain gear and really good muck boots. There was a time or two where I thought I could use some waders, but actually the muck boots worked just fine. The other thing I would highly encourage you to get is mosquito repellent clothing. I had found hoodies with long sleeves, and that did the trick. These things were made by Sims, And as soon as I put them on, the mosquitoes did not bother us. So even without mosquito repellent treated pants, the mosquitoes just didn't come anywhere near us. And it was amazing, really. I was kind of skeptical about buying it because it is expensive, but those things worked. And I would never go back to Alaska without it. Just like you, I have watched lots of videos about Alaska. Just like you, I have looked at all kinds of social pages about traveling in Alaska. I've read guidebooks. I've looked at pictures. And everybody in all of those says how beautiful Alaska is. And here's the thing, they're not wrong. Alaska is so intensely beautiful. It's really just insane. But until you've seen it for yourself, until you've stood on that mountain, until you've looked across that valley, until you've stood in the Kenai River with that amazing turquoise blue, until you've gone out on a boat in Cook Inlet, until you've pulled up a halibut in that amazingly clear water, you just can't begin to understand how amazing all of that is. So if you have the chance, yes, go, see it, do it for yourself. You will not be sorry that you took the time to do that. Even with the weather struggles that I had in June, I am so thankful that I have taken this trip and I have seen it for myself. So again, if you have that chance, just take it, go. You don't have to go in a truck camper or any other kind of RV. You can fly in, you can do the inside passage on a ship. I mean, there are different kinds of ways to experience it. I just think that if you're interested, you definitely shouldn't deny yourself that. Another thing of note that was very special for us was how much wildlife we saw. We kept a log of all the animals we saw, and we counted 90 bear, that's both black and grizzly, over 30 moose, wood bison, caribou, fox, porcupine, and all kinds of sea life, whales, sea otters, all of that. That was really amazing, especially the bears. And it was a good and a bad, because I am insanely terrified of bears. I just felt like whenever we would take a hike, I would come around a corner and there I would come across one. Never happened, but I felt that way, so that limited my hiking opportunities by a lot. But still, to see them and just there they are. I mean, the way that the Alaskans actually move among them is impressive to me, because again, insanely scared, but it was still a great experience to be around that and in amongst it. It was really special. Another thing that we really enjoyed was seeing so many active glaciers and having really good access to them. We didn't expect to see as many as we did, so that was exciting. If you are driving into Alaska, be mindful of those border crossings. We crossed, I think, a total of 10 times, and we experienced everything from let me see your passport to a full-on search of the truck, the rig, and ourselves. We also had food confiscated by the U.S., so I think I was strictly focused on Canada and what they didn't want and what they did want, and I didn't even think about the U.S., so I lost a good bit of food there. But yeah, just be prepared and mindful. One final note, take the trip. Spend the money. Dedicate the time. Go catch that fish. Go on that hike. Sit in a meadow with bears. Go see Denali. Enjoy the journey. Thanks for watching.